Hey, Jang from ultimaterc.com here with a mini review of a few very mundane little products. These are body reamers. Today I'm going to be looking at body reamers from Dubro, Duratrax, and Axial. Now, first of all, when I first got into the hobby and I went into a local hobby shop, I saw a body reamer on the shelf at the store and I was like, you've got to be kidding me, right? An actual tool. You want me to pay for a specific tool for putting holes in a Lexan body? Why don't I just use an X-Acto knife or a Dremel or I don't know, a drill or something, right? Why would you actually make a tool for this? Well, 10 years later and I don't know, 40, 50, 60 bodies later, I know exactly why they have those tools up there. So if you're somebody who does bodies, I don't know, maybe one body per year or something like that, don't even look at this video, just walk away, don't even worry about it, find something else. If you do make new bodies on a fairly regular basis, you go through a lot of projects, you go through a lot of different vehicles, it's going to be very useful to have a body reamer if you don't already have one. So I'm going to look at how a few of these perform. So starting with the Dubro one, this actually comes as part of a set. It comes with a set of scissors, Lexan scissors it comes with. And that costs about 13, 14 bucks, so figure it's going to be about 7 bucks for just this tool here is what you're paying for. It's a very simple little unit. It's a plastic handle and a metal blade. It's a conical blade, so the farther you go in, the larger the hole becomes. And I'm just going to test it out on a piece of scrap Lexan. This is a piece of 0.60 inch Lexan from a monster truck body, so it's fairly thick by today's standards, but not all that uncommon. So just going in, perfectly new little piece, going into it takes a fair amount of effort to get started at any time. But once you get going in there, this is pretty decent reamer. It's giving a nice cut. The problem, I've already started to feel the problem in that you might have seen it right there. I'm putting pressure on it and I'm turning, but the tool itself is not turning. It's actually gotten stuck in there. I actually end up having to hold on to the blade. Now, in fairness, this didn't get unstuck like this. The two parts didn't become independent from each other until I went into a fairly thick body like this one. If you're just doing regular 10th scale bodies, something in a 0.03 or 0.04 Lexan, this will never happen to you, but if you come across something that's thicker, you might have that problem. For something that's thinner, this does make a good hole. It's fairly clean. It doesn't require too much cleanup on the other side. There's a little bit of flashing there that I can take off just by coming at it from the other side, but it makes a decent cut. You just don't want to do anything too thick with this. So then I'm going to move on to the Duratrax one. And this cost about 9 bucks by itself. Very different design. This is their older design. It has a whole bunch of blades all the way around it. But once I get it started, oh yeah, this one's definitely taking a lot more effort. But once I do get it started, I start going around on it. It does go in. This one has pretty good durability on it. The thing I don't like about this is see all the crap that it makes, all those little shavings, really fine little shavings. And also on the other side of the hole here, there's a lot of push through. Remember, I was coming in from this side, so there's a lot that's come through on this side, so now I have to come from the opposite side and really clean up that hole if I want it to be nice and flush. And it's just making a real mess. But you know what? This thing does the job. It has lasted me for quite a number of years. It goes through this thick stuff with it's a little bit of problem getting it started, but once you go in, it's reliable. Now for the big boy. This is the professional. This is the Axial AX20036. Now, where's the blade, right? This end piece right here comes off. It's actually a cover, and it's made of anodized aluminum. So this is different, right? Here you see the blade. It's not a straight blade. It's actually stepped. They call it a stepped body reamer. There are actually markings on the blade. On one side you've got SAE measurements, and on the other side you've got metric units. And I'm going to show you how that works. So going back to my same piece of scrap Lexan. Just going to push it in a little bit. This one is getting the hole started much more quickly and much more easily. It's very, very sharp now. Once I get it going, there's very little pressure that's really required to do this. It's making a nice clean cut. You can see large, long shavings are coming off of it. That's a beautiful cut. And then it got to a point where it just kind of stopped because it's hit one of those steps. Now what's happened there is I've got a perfect hole. It's perfectly round, it's clean on both sides. Don't need to clean it up at all. And I know because I've gone in one step, I know that I've just created a 6mm hole. So that's going to be the perfect size hole without even having to measure it or look at it a few times. Perfect size hole for most 10th scale body mounts. Now if I want to go farther than that, go into it again, and there, it just stopped. Nice and clean. That right there is, according to this, an 8mm hole. And I can just keep going, and I'm really not having to use a lot of pressure here. I just went to the next step. That's a big old hole that I just made in some thick 0.060 Lexan. And it took very little effort to get it started or to get it going. And then as for this cover, the thing about the cover, it's not just for looks. This is going to save you from poking yourself when you're reaching down into your tool chest or your tool tray. The other thing that's going to do is going to save the blade. So if you throw this into a tray with other tools, or if you just have it around on your workbench, you'll hit other metal objects or other hard objects, and that could damage the blade. This thing has an O-ring around the end, and this is a piece of anodized aluminum. Fits on there nice and securely, and it's going to save your blade. So there you go. 3 very mundane little tools that, at least when I started, I didn't see any reason why anybody would want to have one of these things, but now I swear by them. I've used the Duratrax one for quite a while. That was actually my first body reamer. It's a good tool, but obviously you can do better. The Dubro one, it's a decent deal, especially if you're doing lighter weight bodies, if you're doing sedan bodies or 10th scale buggy bodies a lot. This one will work fine, and it's a really good deal because it comes with the set of curved Lexan scissors, or you can get it with 2 sets of scissors, a straight set and a curved set. So it's a good deal for that if you're doing light duty work. But as you saw, if you're doing heavy duty work, going into those monster truck bodies, 8th scale bodies, or something even bigger than that, it's just not going to hold up to that kind of use. The Axial one obviously is the champion here on quality and performance, but it's also much higher in price. This baby right here cost about 22 bucks. I think it's worth its weight in anodized aluminum. It's a very good tool, but if you're on a budget, you don't have to go this high up. Axial does make a lower end one though that's also made out of solid metal. It also has a cover for it, but it doesn't have these steps on it. It's a little bit smaller size. That one's only 13 bucks most places that I've seen. So I think that if you're on a budget and you really want to have a tool that you're going to hold on to for a long time, you're going to be doing a lot of bodies, it's worth spending a little extra money and getting a solid metal body reamer, which will save you a lot of headache in the long run and just make your work a lot more clean and a lot more easy. That's all that I got for now. That was a mini review from ultimaterc.com. If you want to see more of these, be sure to subscribe to the Ultimate RC Network channel on YouTube at youtube.com/users/ultimaterc network, and I will see you next time.